what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Now, we're currently joined by Slick James Johnson. Say hello. How you doing, Slick?
Hello, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. About 15 minutes and we'll actually go live.
Okay.
Going to be a fairly limited show today because I've got only a certain amount of access to screen and real estate, and I've been waiting for the last 2 days, very annoyed that the company that I bought a bulb for, my projector, hasn't actually come through the goods and sent it. So I contacted them this morning after chasing them yesterday. I'm like, where is it? They're like, oh yeah, it's going out today. I'm like, well, she says, is that okay? I was like, no, I needed it yesterday. It's next day delivery. It's like, oh yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I'm like, oh, wonderful. Well, that's just marvellous. I've been sat in waiting for this bulb so I can actually see my screen. But fortunately, I've managed to trick the computer. So I plugged the projector back in, turned it on. I can't actually turn it on, it's just in standby, but by leaving it in standby, the PC thinks there's a monitor connected, and albeit in a very limited 2.5-inch size screen, I can see it in OBS, what's on the second screen. So I can see that there's a few people arriving in chat now, but there's absolutely no way I can read it. It's just too small. But there we go. At least the show's running in some sort of fashion. I'll have to just tell people if they want to share. Either it's going to take me 5 minutes, by which point the point that's being made will be lost, or no sharing, just till tomorrow. I don't think that's any hardship, do you?
All right, so now I'm beginning to understand your limitations without the screen because you can't see what you're used to seeing.
Yeah, I don't have enough screen real estate as it is, so on what I have currently running is OBS, Voice Meter Banana, the Hangouts page, the live page, which is, I forgot what the name of it is, the whatever shows you the live dashboard with the live feed. Then I've got the Skype page open, and then another little ancillary desk with a load of shortcuts on it. So that's just on one screen, and then on the second screen, which is the one I haven't got, is what's currently being recorded. So I can just about keep an eye on it, and I've just left at what I had at the end of Ballbusters, when some dude came in and wanted to talk Flat Earth or Globe Earth, whichever way you want to look at it. So I had like a screen, like an animated screen of a globe, just a very, very CGI globe with like voice reactive things going, which is what's going on in the background now. You can't see it, unfortunately, Slick, but that and the chat. So it looks, I've cobbled it together so it at least looks like it's running perfectly, just without anybody's, page on the Hangout. But that's the main bit for me, isn't it? What's going on in the actual Hangout. But there we go. Such is life. It's only for a day, hopefully.
Oh, okay, now I understand.
Big shout out to my Patreons. They're the ones who paid for the bulb. A couple of people.
So now I get it. So where you're used to being able to have a big screen where you can see everything, now you've got this small screen trying to see all of these things on it.
Yeah, I have both anyway, but it's just I've normally got two. I could really do with either one of them being a higher resolution, because that means that I've got more physical pixels to put pieces of software onto the screen, so I can look at more at once, or get a third screen. That was my option before, but what I'd done to get around that was just use the iPad, so I can monitor certain things on the iPad instead of on the computer screen, namely the live feed and the chat. So that's what I'll do today. That just about gives me enough, I can just about keep an eye on everything, but I just can't present anything other than my nice screen animation of a globe with a load of moons spinning around it.
Just picturing your setup with all of this other stuff going on around, like It's so weird because all I got is this phone, and that's the limit of my technology.
That's how I join other people's shows, because it's just so easy. Just turn on the iPad and then you're in. It's like a 30-second job. Whereas just setting up this show probably takes, I don't know, today it took a longer period of time because I had to sort of blow up OBS and then have it present the screen I haven't got and then fiddle around with things on that screen and then, change it back to the studio mode so I could actually use it to broadcast. So that took a bit longer. But normally it takes me about, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes just to set up the show. So a few people had said over the last couple of days, because I haven't had a live show, like, well, Arwin manages it, and it's like, well, yeah, his show's a lot less complicated than mine. He's considering doing similar style panels, but to date he hasn't yet. He certainly doesn't give the link out to the public, and in doing so, there's a few precautions that I have to take that just requires a bit more setup time. I won't bore you with what, but ultimately speaking, there's a few little tweaks and tricks that I do to make it all run smoothly. And plus I'm quite fussy, I do, as much as maybe people look at it and go, really? So well, I do actually want it to look nice, or relatively nice. I go to other people's streams and just think it looks a mess on screen. Now admittedly most of it's verbal, so it's not that important, but I still think it's nice if it looks nice.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, like a lot of people that are in my position who just plug in and go, don't understand how much work is involved. See, just what you've explained right there, I can see that that takes a lot of work and dedication and responsibility. And I don't think people appreciate that too much.
Maybe not. I mean, it's one of those unspoken things that you either come to the show, look at it and think it looks nice and it's an interesting conversation going on, or you don't. And, no amount of me saying, oh, look at all the stuff I do. I mean, yes, I'm doing it now because it's, it's a topic of conversation, given that there's been 2 days without a live debate on account of the fact that I've lost one of my screens. So it's, moderately interesting perhaps to some of the people in the second channel audience. Shout out to everybody in Nathan Oakley channel. How you doing in the premiere? Good to have you here. Thank you for joining. Smash the super chat. But yeah, it's moderately interesting. But I did a little tour I've never used Patreon because I just haven't had time. I said that to Ranty when I set it up. I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? How am I gonna keep my patrons happy? And Ranty was of the opinion, well, you don't have to. It's just there as a means of raising funds for whatever you need to raise funds for. So I put in the blurb, I want to keep my equipment maintained. And subsequently, I haven't actually told them what I've been spending money on. So when I sent my amp back last, I didn't note it on Patreon. But this time, because I've obviously not had a live show, I was like twiddling my thumbs. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll make a couple of videos for Patreon with something else that was fixed with their money. So the iPad screen cracked, and it's horrendous to get Apple stuff fixed. But again, with their funds, I managed to get it fixed, and then as a consequence, I was able to make a video specifically for Patreon. And I just showed them around my lounge, and I was like, this is broken, that's broken, this has just been fixed, that's been fixed, still needs fixing, this hasn't been fixed properly, this is broken, and so on and so forth. And I don't know, I'm sure I mentioned it in one of the chats, and someone was like, why? Well, you've got really good equipment, or you've got expensive equipment. It's like, well, yeah, I used to sell this equipment, so obviously I've bought good equipment, which is why it's lasted 20 years. Loads of it is really old. It looks cool, but it's actually ancient. A lot of it's older than some of the audience, and it's just old stuff is old. It just sometimes breaks. It's just the way it goes. But on the other hand, I can actually put together a decent show with it, and I'm very pleased with the fact that I have actually got this equipment, considering that it was, until doing YouTube to the degree I do, it was just gathering dust. Yeah, it was quite good to watch a movie on a big stereo, but other than that, it rarely actually got used. Especially with having an iPad, you just sit and watch the iPad if you want to watch a bit of YouTube. There's no point firing up a great big massive stereo and a projector. But when you need 2 screens and you need to be able to monitor the audio in a nice way that doesn't feed back, and it's got all the facilities to actually do a really nice show. I hope that's what's assisted the popularity of Flat Earth debate. People have come and gone, yeah, this is good. It looks visually nice. The conversation's good, and then they stay or subscribe. So, hope springs eternal.
Well, and then too, also, I mean, any kind of a broadcast, whether it's a podcast on the internet, whether it's radio, whether it's TV, all of those things have to have equipment, and they all have to be funded. Nobody can just, run these things without equipment that doesn't come from somewhere. So I get it. I understand that. Just like a regular radio station will get advertisers. That's how they, fund their shows. So everybody has to have some means of funding their program. I don't see how people could ever have a problem with that.
I think it's because there's an impression that, like with yourself, you pick up a phone and there's a button on the phone if you're in YouTube to broadcast, and if you've got a camera phone, you can instantly broadcast. So people are of the impression, well, it's dead easy. You just press the broadcast button. All you need is a mobile phone. They're not that expensive. It's like, well, yeah, that's true. You can just broadcast with a mobile phone, but having a show with a public link that anybody from the public can join at any given moment, and keeping control of that, and having the audio nice and the levels nice, and having it run smoothly twice a day, that's not so easy. And it probably took me about at least 6 months, probably longer, to actually figure out how to get it into this particular state where it does run smoothly. And to the untrained eye, it's just like, well, it's just another show, right? I could just fire up a Google Hangout and have the same thing. Well, do it, see how you get on, and when there's pornography playing on your channel, you'll know why it's a bit more complicated to do it the way I do it. But some people do just look at it and go, well, it's just a Hangout, right? What's so complicated about that? Surely anybody can do it, until they try.
And see, too, also, now that's work, because that's an investment. When you did those 6 months, you had no guarantees that it was going to pan out to anything. So that could have been just 6 months of wasted time, wasted equipment, and got nothing back for it. So these are all things that I don't think a lot of people realize what goes into doing something like this. I can see it from what I am experiencing. I can see there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Just like another thing, when you do see a radio show, usually the host has a crew that does a lot of the other things. But when it seems what you're doing, not only are you the host, but you're the crew also, which doubles the workload or triples it. So all of these things have to be taken into account.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. I think that's kind of expected, though. On YouTube, you kind of... I don't know how some of the bigger YouTubers do it. Maybe they're different in terms of their having a crew. Certainly Logan Paul had an entourage. I don't know if that meant that they were actually his crew and lighting and sound, and I didn't see, but I assume someone was actually pointing a camera at him at the very least. So yeah, you're not wrong in that regard, but it's far easier when you've got a static camera on a tripod and you can just press go and sit here. That's far easier than actually doing something on location. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Most people still don't appreciate the level of work that goes into it. Not that I'm complaining. I actually went into this knowing that it was a massive risk to start up a YouTube channel, but it's something that I desperately wanted. It was something I had ambitions for, and I've never lied to my audience about it when they're like, oh, you're here to make money. I'm like, yeah, I am. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a successful YouTuber, and you need a good subject if you're going to be a successful YouTuber. And you term it in ways I like, actually, Slick. You talk about product and things of that nature. Well, I used to be in sales, so I can completely relate to that in terms of what I'm selling. And I don't take that the wrong way. In what I mean, I don't mean it's actually a financial cost, but it is, because you're going to potentially sit down and spend some of your time watching the show. Well, that means that there's a product being sold. Well, that product in this instance is me and the show that I put on, and you've got to kind of build up a decent audience in order to make YouTube anything like a living. Now, in terms of where I am with YouTube at the moment, I'm delighted. I've built up my subscribers over the last few months to the point where I can say, great, YouTube is actually paying off now. Paying off as in it's covering the huge amount of debt that I've gone into to create a YouTube channel. And I don't know, I've probably told this story before, but 12 or 18 months ago, my wife and I sat down and I was like, I want to do YouTube. I want to be successful. I want to dedicate myself to doing YouTube. And it'll be a big gamble, but we'll set a date, actually this month, right now. And if it's not paying off, i.e. if it's not successful and feasible for you to do YouTube, then you'll have to give it up, or I'll have to give it up and do something else to earn a living. And nobody wants to do that if they want to be a YouTuber. Obviously they're going to throw their heart and soul into it if they genuinely do want to be a YouTuber. A lot of people think they do, but don't really, until they actually start doing it and realizing that you've got to spend, as I have, at least a couple of years dedicated to it without it giving you any return, but actually sending you into debt. It's costing you money, because that time, again back to spending time, could have been spent doing something else to earn you shekels to pay your to pay your rent or pay whatever else it is that it needs paying for whoever else is trying to develop a YouTube channel. But given enough time, you can build an audience, and I am extremely grateful to all of the people. I mean, I've shouted out the Patreons on this, but ultimately it's down to the audience more than anybody else. I'm sure with a month of scrimping without Patreon, I could have probably scraped together the $160 for the bulb and then got the show back up and running. But because there was funds available from Patreon, I just ordered it instantly without batting an eyelid. And I thanked them all for it and made a couple of videos saying so. Like, yeah, great. The fact that I can admittedly have a 3-day gap, but with very minimal interruption, and it's just down to money. I'm not being mercenary, it's just a fact of life, right? Everybody needs money.
Well, one thing that I've noticed, and like I said, I've said this before, and I'm not trying to blow smoke, because I don't blow smoke up people's behinds. If I say something, it's because I mean it. I think you've done an excellent job with this because it's groundbreaking. See, you're the first to do this. I mean, nobody else is, doing what you're doing, and I'm not sure if I just covered all the bases. Maybe somebody somewhere is, but for the most part, you were the one that started this. And so that's, that's pretty big to me. I think that's awesome. That's
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Most importantly, if you would like to join this discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we're currently joined by Slick James Johnson. How are you doing, Slick? Good to have you.
Hello. How are you?
Very well. We've already done the hellos and stuff on the pre-show, so it's a bit weird after you start the live show. I've never mentioned this before, but you say hello and it's like, yeah, we've just been chatting for 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's okay.
So it's just you and I. Mind doing a bit of housekeeping? Should be very short and sweet if it's just you and me.
Sure.
Hey, Chocolate. Hey, Arwin.
Good morning.
Good
How you
morning.
guys doing?
Very
What's
well.
happening, Chocolate?
No complaints. How are you, Arwin? Can you hear
What's
us?
up, Slick? How are you?
What's going on?
We get a hello from Arwin.
Sorry, I had it on mute. Hello.
So you were chatting away. Good to have you, Arwin. Crystal clear. Right, let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any signs of Earth-based curvature, gentlemen?
No, definitely not.
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Nope. Not even a little bit.
Any signs of axial rotation?
Not of the
Nothing.
Earth-based variety.
Or is that
Nothing
not of
that
the
I'm
Earth-based
aware of.
variety? Yeah, you're not kidding, Arwin. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Not for a while to come. Maybe never.
Definitely never, as they've hijacked relative density. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
What about the distance to
No.
the sun? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No, there is no distance to the sun.
The sun is right where it needs to be for experience.
Right?
Hey, Why are you laughing,
could
Arwin?
work.
Instead
No,
of
because that could work. If
say
yeah,
again.
or it needs to be where it is. That could also indicate for the experience. Yeah, a holographic phenomena definitely can be experienced. So he may technically be correct in that sense.
Well, what is a holographic phenomenon, and has that been verified?
The sun?
Well, it hasn't been verified that it's physical, but the experience has been verified, though.
But has it been verified that it's a holographic phenomena?
Well, if it's not possible to confirm that it is physical, yet it is optical, it can be seen, then there's only so many ways to conceptualize what it could be that are left. And the only one that I know of is a holographic nature, which means light based. That is exactly what we got, the light. And that's it.
That just sounds like a lot of deduction and assumptions, but such as, to each
Now,
his own.
it's called classification
Yeah, but
But
he's
is
right
it
though, isn't he?
on the empirical evidence that is available.
Why is it that
Is
when you
it-
talk about supposition and you extract what it could be, you then strap on the word empirical at the end, which is going to get me piping up, isn't it, Arwin? Come on. What's empirical about what you're stating? Well, nothing, let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. No, it is
It's-
observed, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's as good as me saying the sun is the sun, isn't it?
But there's no claim of physicality about it. So there is no further. Yeah, for a claim of a holographic nature, you do not need physical interaction because that will be impossible. Although
you know?
physical interaction could be used to disprove its holographic nature, though.
Right. So you could find out it was physical. So your assertion falls down on its face based on us not being able to verify. So not empirical.
Well, I'd like to see somebody try. No, but the empirical evidence is there because the visuals are there. And that can definitely make it holographic.
It could
But
be,
you can't verify.
but definitely no distance then.
Nope.
What about evidence?
Only apparent distance.
Apparent, yes, indeed. Just like the globers have. Any evidence of a gas pressure being maintained without a container?
None of that
Nope.
either.
We'll have none of that law breaking here.
Last but not least, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Nothing but what Rumpus has to offer. Other than that, nothing.
Well, presumably it exists.
And may I ask, what does Rumpus have on that?
Well, Rumpus has a long-winded statement about what radius is, and as long as he can make that statement, then that makes radius exist because he said so.
Oh, so nothing then. Copy that.
Exactly.
You mean the radius incantation?
That'll work.
You said incantation?
Yeah. It's a spell.
Radius.
It's a spell to make him believe there is evidence.
They call out to the winds, and the winds answer them with radius.
No, they
he's
use
not wrong.
science and math. That is their fabric of their spellcraft.
That's the fabric of their story. Incantation basically means a magical formula.
Well, it is doing its magic. It's convincing them it's real.
Right, that's what I mean. You're right. It isn't definitely a correct use of the word incantation, because that's precisely what it is.
Yep.
I like it. I like new words. Incantation. Well, it's not new, but new to the show. R is an incantation.
Wizardry.
Good word.
That falls under
Well,
the
it
category
is-
of wizardry.
Incantation, prayer, spell. I mean, these could be used interchangeably, especially when we're talking about things that there's no proof for.
But
Like
an incantation
radius.
is more specifically directed at convincing somebody, while a prayer can just be, I don't know, bringing a certain state of mind to yourself to conduct certain energies or whatever whatever you're going to be doing, it's different. An incantation is like a convincing thing.
So how does our prayer work then? So Radius Dominus Gravitas Spiritus Sanctum Arwen. How does that, or Arvain? How does that work? Does that, because it's a parody of a prayer that's highlighting the absurdity of all of the things that they worship, right? So does that work as like a reverse spell?
Well, if they were like typical Catholic Globers, and you wouldn't mention to them that it's actually sarcastic in any way, they might actually really like it. Serious.
Maybe.
Or
It is
they
a cool,
treat it
it is a cool sounding
if they're
prayer,
gonna
though.
imitate scripture and do it wrong, then they might just per default declare it blasphemy. I don't know, but they might actually kind of appreciate it as like, oh yeah, that's kind of creative with the knowledge of the globe.
I've been watching a lot of Owen Benjamin. I'm totally hooked. He talks, not often, but he talks about kind of magic-y type things and wizards and spells, and I don't know. I'm just hooked. It's just great. Really, really, really entertaining.
Indeed. It is. I watch him a lot.
My favorites with him is when he's going off on his audience about how silly the moon landings are, and he's just completely destroying it.
And he did it yesterday.
So funny.
And he's also on about scientism and everything. So he's digging into this. I think he's watching your show, Nathan.
Are we talking about the same person?
Yeah.
The guy with
He
the
doesn't
goats?
mention you or anything, but from his syntax, from the new subjects he's bringing forth, a lot of them seem to be synchronizing with typical subjects that we deal with. Also, the use of words. And I've been noticing that on a wider media platform scale. So I think people are paying attention to our show and kind of taking the new level. We're taking our learning process and trying to assimilate parts of that into their own thinking and lingo.
I mean, I hope some of the concepts have bled out and then reached Owen Benjamin. I doubt he's watching the show, but
Exactly.
I doubt he's actually like participating in the chat or watching the show. I just think that some of the arguments will filter down to people like Owen Benjamin through the grapevine because they're good arguments and they just peter out and other people repeat them. So, for example, it might be that he's a Daryl, what's his name, D Marble fan. So, and D Marble certainly echoed some of the arguments. I've seen them echoed by other people. In other words, there's a good chance he's going to be watching somebody who is watching the show that's disseminated that argument in an equally coherent manner.
Right.
So then again, if he is watching, shout out to Owen Benjamin.
Yeah.
Hope springs eternal. Second time I've said it on this stream. Shout out to his
gone
goats.
into his chat and seen people actually typing out the housekeeping questions? Because I've seen that.
The best way.
Names that I don't even know. They're just typing out the housekeeping questions one after the other, and I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to
He
Del
was
West
on
Watson
about
for the super chat.
The moon
Really,
landing
really appreciate your
yesterday. I
support.
think he even.
Sorry, I was just shouting out a super chat. Shout out to Del West Watson. I noticed this also. I watch Owen a lot. Yeah. Hopefully he is reaching. You know, it means that they're good arguments if they're reaching a wider spread and people are parroting them. Not that I can take full responsibility for all of these arguments. You know, far from it. They've just been put into the housekeeping. Hi, Physics Warrior. Can you hear us? I'm on mute at the moment. Hopefully you'll say hello in a second. But yeah, the people who are repeating the housekeeping questions, repeat them verbatim. They're really, really well thought out questions. A lot of people have worked on those questions for a prolonged period of time to boil them down to a concise question that has the answer within the question and highlights how absurd the question is in the first instance. So they're great to just parrot verbatim. They don't need any adapting. They're good questions.
And please donate to the super chat.
Oh yeah, and smash the super chat, of course. Feed the bear, as Owen puts it.
Yeah, although he doesn't get any super chat anymore these days.
Well,
Gets
one
a
thing
lot
that
of strikes.
intrigued me that he still calls them super chats. So what he does instead is he says hit the PayPal link, and whatever it is, paypal.me, feed the bear. And then he says, I'll read out, and he very specifically says, the super chats. And it wasn't just a slip of the tongue once or twice. He does it all the time since he's been demonetized. Now, I don't know if that was mentioned on some of the live streams directly after he lost his monetization and specifically said, I'm going to call them super chats because, or if he's just so used to saying, I'll read out super chats, even though he's reading out PayPal donations.
I agree.
I just don't know if there's a reason behind that.
I think he's probably just used to the habit of calling it a certain way. You're right.
Could be.
Or maybe he's reading the old super chats because he had so many of them that he still had like half of them left. So he's just reading old super chat comments. I don't know.
Nah, he's not reading old ones.
Probably not, though.
No, I don't think so. He's just reading out PayPal donations.
Can you add text to PayPal donations?
He's probably better off anyway, because if YouTube's not getting a cut, or Google, or whoever gets a cut on the super chats, you know?
Oh, definitely not. No, it's definitely cost him dearly.
Yeah, what is it? Tens of thousands of dollars.
I thought it was
They
more
just
than that.
took it away.
That
Just
might be.
Gave it back.
I'm sure he mentioned something like 50k. You know what I mean?
Oh, was it that much? Damn.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just going on perhaps one mention of it. Shout out to my warped mind. Keep up the great work, Nathan. Well, thank you very much indeed. Great work. We're just chatting about Owen Benjamin. There's somebody in my chat, right? I don't know who it is, but somebody keeps leaving messages, and they're really, concise, good messages. I'm going to see if I can look up this person's name. And they're being accused of being me with a sock account. Now, I don't use sock accounts. No offence to anybody who chooses to use sock accounts. Good for you. More power to you. However, I choose not to. I've got working accounts, and I'd prefer people did know it was me, as opposed to hiding behind a sock account. Nevertheless, there's some dude in there. I can't find him. I'll get there eventually. That people are accusing of being me. So I just want to go on the record and say, no, I don't have any sock accounts. So it's definitely not me. I can't find his name. Oh, here we go. I am Mr. Panda Bear is not me. Just so everybody's clear. Just because he might be repeating certain things that I have said doesn't make him me. Just so that's clear. Shout out to I am Mr. Panda Bear. Thank you for all your nice comments. Really appreciate it.
Oh, and now you're talking to yourself in chat right now.
Is he in there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Where is he? There we go. That's
No,
funny.
you
That's
typed
me.
it.
There you go. No, that's definitely not me. I'm not typing and having this conversation. I'm not that skilled.
I am Mr. Panda Bear would not typically be a name I think you would use for a sock account.
No, definitely
Maybe-
not my style. But there we go. More power to you. I am
Oh,
Mr. Panda
he's
Bear.
actually saying his name now.
Oh, really? What's his name?
Steve
My name
Gerrard.
is Steve Gerhardt. If you are so interested. Well, very nice to meet you, Steve Gerhardt. This is a nice interaction with the chat. Do some of the shout out. Shout out to Pete Shea. Shout out to Ute. Shout out to Jim Morrison. I think Jim Morrison might have been one of the people who was accusing him of being me. I am William. Nice to see you. Rune Thornton. Woohoo! Nice to have you here. I am Bear. Good to see you as well. Logical Fallacy. New commenter in the stream's been very good as well. Very interesting. Truth Seeker Mafia. Thanks for being here. Not Flat. Good to have you in the chat. Randy Leahy, presumably. Thanks for being here. Truthers Truth. Some great names in the chat today. Rambo Jambo, Daniel Field, nice to have you all. Orinoco Womble. Nice name. Good to have you. Gideon Sick, thanks for being here. Paula, Bible Literalist, hello, good to have you. Gamer Tamer. Oldies but newbies. Space is Fake. I was chatting to him on Hitch's channel. Nice guy. Very nice guy, actually. Space is Fake, thanks for being here. Joe Carter, good to see you. Jason Dean, hello. Dan Lindberg, hello. Honey Badger, Tom Tom, I think I've done everybody. Gassy Juice. YouTube Surgeon General, hello. Good to have you here. Cynical Skeptic, hello as well. Any more for any more? Ranty Flat Earth, hello! He says, oi oi Nathan. Hello Ranty. Shane Walker, good to see you. 2.88 mile mushroom. Yeah. That'll be it, I think. Christina, you're just going to last. So, hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you for super chatting. Really appreciate all your support. Most importantly, thank you for tuning in.
Nathan, at some point, I wanted to let your audience know not to take out my comments on you, because comments that I make are from me only, and they have nothing to do with anybody else. This is an open panel where anybody is able to join. So just because I'm on this panel, I don't want anybody to take my comments out on the host.
I get that all the time. So someone will say, this was said on Nathan Oakley's show. Therefore, the assumption being that is my opinion. It's like, just because I don't disclaim at the end of everyone's opinion that I don't agree, or that it's not my opinion. It's like, it's a debate show with an open panel. There's going to be more than one opinion on here, right? You might not agree with something that's said on the show. That's highly likely, in fact. But don't necessarily attribute it to me. Thank you, Slick. Yes, I do not necessarily endorse or agree with the comments made on this show. Nathan Oakley Productions cannot be held responsible for any animals harmed during the making of this production.
Let's not do that.
Shout out to Peanuts Clark. Having a great experience, Slick. You got to admit, at least they're amusing. That caused some somber thoughts on the panel, did it?
Yeah, it seems to be very quiet. I'm trying to leave some space here for some commentary.
How about
The screen is so hypnotizing.
how about Israel landing on the moon?
Israel landed on the moon?
They're preparing to land a space probe on the moon.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
Yeah, okay.
Or that's what they're claiming they are.
Oh, that's what they claim. Allegedly, they're going to land on
Yeah.
the moon, right?
Are they gonna do a single shot from launch to arrival?
Well, I'm sure they're already in space, right? Didn't they have a, what do you call it, a picture that released about with their
Ebon's the
little
man.
aircraft?
Let's go to our space correspondent, Ebon Kim. Can you hear us, Ebon?
Yes, I can. Hi.
So how's it going with the Israeli mission to the moon? Where are they up to?
You got to
Looks
say
like
nominal.
touchdown is scheduled to be between 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So stay tuned. This should be an exciting launch or landing.
So they've got the rocket on the pad. It's fueled. It's not taken off yet.
What do you mean?
What's the state of play? So you said they're ready to launch. Are they actually
No, they're ready to land.
ready to land?
Yeah.
So they've already launched.
It's already in space, Nathan. You
Okay,
didn't know?
I'm not exactly Mr. Current Affairs. I'm sorry. So have we got any footage of them actually taking off and traveling to space, or what have they shown the audience thus far? Do you know?
There's
I
probably
haven't.
still watching. We're still working on the CGI, probably. Or
I need to do a little bit more research.
You haven't seen the Israel picture? You haven't seen that yet? Nathan? Anybody? Hello?
What are you asking me? I don't watch anything like this. I have no idea. I stopped watching this crap.
I haven't
my
seen
God.
it.
Somebody
what is
pull
it?
that up. Israel dropped a picture of their little probe in space. You guys haven't seen this nonsense yet? Look it up, Arwen. Get it.
I might not be able to share it. I'll have a go. But they've sent a picture of their module. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they took a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You
Wow,
got it,
that's
Arwen?
a really beautiful piece of art, man.
You
Hey,
see
Randy.
the line going from
Way
Earth to
more
top of the Earth?
convincing than the average NASA shit.
Go on then, stick it in the side chat. I'll see if I can get it to the audience. It might take me a few
Oh,
minutes.
wait, it's an artist illustration.
Oh,
Never mind.
artist illustration. Oh, that's a disappointment. You mean they haven't
It
got a
is
photo
really
from
beautiful,
space?
though.
Oh, that's a shame. What a shock.
Wait, which one are you looking at, Roman?
Uh,
The one with Earth in the
some news
background
article.
and there's a flag, something like that? Like an Israeli flag and the Earth is in the
Oh
background.
God, this one?
Is that the one? Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I can't
Bare
see what
feet
you're
lander
looking at.
depicted on the lunar surface? That?
I don't know. Can you show it? Can you present it? Because I can't see
That
what you're
looks
looking
so not real, but yeah.
at.
I want to say a quick hello to our new guest. How you doing, Ranty?
Doing good, thanks. How are you?
Very well. You're a bit quiet. Let's turn you up. Very well, Ranty.
Did any of you guys catch the... Hi, Chucky, you alright?
Yeah, brother. How you
Right,
doing?
so here it is. This?
I can't share it that way. Can you put it in the chat, and then I can pop it out and then stick it on the second screen? It'll just take me a few minutes to actually. I don't want to bore you with the details, but if you can share it, I'll hopefully be able to get it out to the audience. There we go. Perfect.
You have to dig through it though. It's
Yeah,
very
that's fine.
pop-up-y.
What?
It has pop-ups.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's this pop-up? Go away, pop-up.
Hello.
How do I get rid of it?
Click it
Virus,
away.
Nathan.
Oh.
Morning.
Hello, we've got another new guest. Sorry, I was on a different tab. It's Mr. Who is it? Your name, I'm really sorry. It's just
Carlos?
Mr. Pagan? Carlos. How you doing, Carlos?
Doing well.
Very pleased to have you.
Hey guys, can I just ask, did any of you guys see the video Jeren put out about is the Earth spinning?
Yes, I did. I commented on it too. I don't know if he's taken it down because he's re-released it, right?
Yeah.
Why has he taken the original down?
Yeah, he included some guy that has quite a lot of subscribers, and because he actually showed his face and him talking, they put a copyright claim in against the video. So he pulled it down and did it with just saying what he said rather than actually taking a clip from his video.
Little copyright strike.
Sorry?
I said the little copyright strike.
Yeah, I don't think it was a strike. I think it was a claim to monetize it. So he's like, "Nah, I sod that. It's my work. I'm gonna bring it down, and you're not getting a penny of it." I think that's what it was.
Okay,
But anyway,
I've shown the pitch to the audience. They're only going to get it for a few seconds, and then I'm going to get rid of it. But there you go. That's the picture. Is there any more to it? Like lower down. Sorry, if this sounds vague, it's because I'm monitoring what's actually going out to the audience on like a 3-inch screen. So it's like, definitely can't read it. Don't know what I'm looking at. Don't know what I'm showing the audience.
How did they have a picture of it on the moon already when it hasn't even landed yet?
I don't know. That's a very good question, Ibon.
anyway, guys, I had a question for you. You know, they say that the Earth's atmosphere is now supposed to incorporate the moon.
Well, they've just changed. They've changed the Tor values around, but yes, it's still fundamentally an open system. But yeah, go on, Ranty.
So if it's supposed to be a perfect vacuum, which is the reason why the Earth can spin, if it's now in our atmosphere, surely that should be creating drag.
It's only a few particles.
No, you see, they did claim that over a certain length of time, billions of years, that the drag would eventually slow the Earth down. Yeah, that was even in this almost perfect vacuum. But now that it's in our atmosphere, how come it isn't slowing it down any quicker?
Because it's only a few particles spread out.
No, I'm not buying that. If the moon is in our atmosphere, and the atmosphere is just above the Earth, then there must be a lot more resistance just above the Earth than there is the Moon.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. I was speaking to Joan about it last night, and he's in agreement too.
Well, I'm sure he is. He's a flat earther.
So why do you think they're changing these?
This was a well-known fact from a while back. They just somebody, re-released it, and the news outlets just wanted to make a big article about it, and the moon is in the atmosphere. Which
when you say it was after the millennium, it was after the millennium, wasn't it? Though, when this was detected, it wasn't 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years ago. We're talking. It was after the millennium. I think it was like 2002.
Perhaps
When this was first released. No, it's true, and you know it's true. So just you turning around and saying that it's been known for years.
I'm not certain, so I don't want to say for certain. So I'm saying perhaps. I mean, what do you call it? Genuine. I don't want to lie if I don't know.
So why do they need to change it though? If you had a perfect system in the year 2000, why now, when it's 2019, have you had to change things to make it work?
There's not been a change. There's just being new discovery.
Now more than ever, people are.
Go on, Carlos. We lost Chocolate. He was interrupting you anyway.
Oh, okay. I was saying it's not that we're changing. It's just that better equipment lets you see better data and just new findings.
Every time I start talking, nonsense.
Okay, well, you'd think when they went to the moon, they'd know whether they were in Earth's atmosphere or not, wouldn't you? That didn't require well, why wouldn't they?
Well, since you're so knowledgeable on the subject, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, instead of taking samples of whatever air or vacuum was up there, they were busy collecting moon rocks made of petrified wood. So there you
go. That's right. No, what I'm saying is that it's not that they changed it. It's that they're the better equipment they get, the more they can, better data they can gather, and it's not that when you hear the moon is in the atmosphere, you're picturing it's now it's close to the Earth, or it's a lot of air. We're talking on like a few particles for square foot or whatever. I don't know exactly how much it is, but yeah, it's still near a perfect vacuum. They just know. What
is keeping those particles attached to or still in the atmosphere? Because now this atmosphere supposedly goes out to about almost 400,000 miles.
Nothing. It's an open system still. Miles? Nothing's changed. It's an open system. They've just rearranged the Tor values. It's still an open system. It's still a second law of thermodynamics violation.
Exactly.
You guys are too good. You've actually beat me to what I was going to say, so.
Hi, Eric. How you doing?
Hey, long time.
Long time no see. What were you going to say, Ranty? How has he gone?
No, you beat me to it.
What, that it's still an open system?
Well, yeah, essentially.
Yeah, it makes no difference. It's still a second law of thermodynamics violation. The gas would still fill the space available to it. If it's an open system, then it's got beyond wherever they say the top is. Doesn't matter how far they push the top out. The gas would still fill the space. It's not going to just stop. Doesn't matter if they say it stops just above the Earth or stops just above the Moon. Eventually, there is a gas pressure next to a vacuum. It's still defying the second law of thermodynamics, no matter which way they dice the Tor values. It's an open system.
I think Slice Barkane's going to be doing his experiment this week, I believe.
Not an experiment.
Well, his test then. Well, how do you think that's going to go?
I've seen the criticisms.
Going to be able to accomplish it.
I've seen the criticisms from Nick at Phuket Word about the side profile of it. So I don't know how the fudging of perspective will work looking down these pipes, but Nick from Phuket Word's answer to it was to say, well, why aren't we getting a side view as opposed to just down the line?
How is
Same.
that side view more helpful than the other view?
Well, because if it's alleged to be curving, then you would see that curve in the side view.
Better than the other view?
Yeah. It's supposed to be curving in all directions, so it shouldn't really matter which view, but 2 is better than 1.
This goes back to my argument of the arrow or the of a piece of lumber. Like if it's sitting on the ground away from you, laying horizontally, can you see that it's crooked or curved, or do you have to bring it, from to you in a horizontal line up with your eye from the top to the bottom to see if it's straight or curved? Which one is better, easier to detect if it's curved or crooked?
I don't know. According to your curve calculators,
You don't know.
You can measure it per pixel, and according to globe proponents who have completely hijacked perspective, used geometry calculations to compare to optical photographs, they claim they can measure it by pixel and say this is curve, here it is by the pixel, mathematically calculable. So are you saying that that's not possible? Because that's what the curve calculators claim to be able to do.
No. You're not answering the question. Which way would be easier to see a curvature or a curve or a crookedness on a piece of lumber or an arrow?
Probably side
Which
on.
way would be easier?
Side on, probably.
Sideways, really?
Yeah,
Or
probably.
comparing a piece of wood to like 15, 20-mile observation or something.
See,
here's the thing. Like, let's say a 8-foot piece of 2x4. When you're looking at it lined up from one end to the other one with your eye, you're bringing the whole piece of wood into a very narrow field of view, and any curve or crookedness, it would be more noticeable than if you lay it on the ground and look at it from the side view. Can anybody agree with that?
Well, no. If it was bowing upwards, then you'd see a gap between the flat floor and the curved piece of wood. So side view, you'd see that really quickly. There'd be a gap underneath it.
Well, exactly. Well, at least you have a reference on the floor. But when we're talking about something on the ground, then we don't have any reference but the ground, and we're trying to see if the ground is curved.
Oh,
See what I'm saying?
But you do have a reference. Globe heads.
Why is it right?
Well, you automatically assume a radius value.
No.
What do you mean? No. Yes. You automatically assume a radius.
No, Nathan, we're arguing whether which method is better to see a curvature. And everybody else has, so at least one person has agreed that the other method is better, and you keep claiming that a side view would be better. And
no,
I
I
disagree.
said a side view would be better. If you're looking straight down the pipe, you're going to get the line at the end is going to become very close together, and it's going to give an optical effect of like.
No, obviously nobody here has done construction work or work with wood or anything like that.
We don't need to. We've got the wind turbines. We've got the wind turbines. We've seen them from the side. We've seen them from down the pipe.
Carlos, can I say something here?
Sure, go ahead, buddy.
You really muffled, Derek.
A floor can be a reference, and you put the that's curved on.
You're really muffled, Eric. I don't know if your mic's half hanging out of the jack or something.
Okay. Can you hear better?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
So, can't we draw a straight line on a picture of the side view? A straight line would be a reference. We could, match that to.
But the problem is, here's the problem. We're talking about the length of that area. By the time you get a wide view wide enough to be able to fit the whole length of the observation, not experiment, then you're going to have barely any pixels to be able to measure that.
So we're going back to this is Sly Sparkane's test that we're talking about. Obviously, we're talking about 3/4 of a mile, and he's trying to determine whether there's a 2-inch drop. So he's going to try and do this with optically as well. If you're looking down the pipe over 3/4 of a mile, do you really think he can detect 2 inches of drop?
You should be able to.
Really? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think he will be. I don't.
Well,
He won't be. Well, do you know? I'll tell you for why. Because it will be out of focus. The camera, when it focuses on the first stick in the foreground, 100 meters away, By the time he gets to the last stick, well, sorry, when he's focusing on the first stick, the last stick will be out of focus. When he's focusing on the last stick, the
No,
first stick will be out
well,
of focus.
that's why he's going to be doing the observation from further far away from the first stick to avoid that. That's a good point. But that is why he's going to do the observation from a few hundred feet.
It's too short a distance to get a conclusive result.
So
But-
you're saying
okay,
you're saying
go
he could view this 2 inches if he's looking down the line, but he couldn't view it side on. Well, why not?
He could view it, but it's too wide of an angle to be able to make a measurement. It's better to look at it from a down the pipe, because you're bringing a very narrow field of view and have everything on the picture to be able to compare it. As opposed of having a huge wide angle lens, which is going to be prone to distortion of the lens and to any of the atmospheric stuff and pixels. There are not enough pixels.
But as you're looking down the line, the effect of perspective will be taking effect, though. The things that are far away are obviously much smaller in the frame of the camera than the things that are near to you. Well, that's going to cause a huge problem, I would say. So, for me, side elevation's the only way to do this, because looking down the line, you've got the effects of perspective to concern yourself with. How concerned with the effects of perspective is Sly?
You don't have to take that into account. And
even though you're looking down the line or something. So
lens.
The first pipe potentially could fill the entire frame of the picture, and the last pipe could be 3 or 4 pixels, and you're saying you don't need to account for that. Let me tell you something, Carlos.
That's why he's
reality.
That's why he's doing the observation from far away, Nathan.
Yeah, from far away down the line. Yeah, from far away down the line. So the stuff in the near foreground's still going to be bigger than the stuff in the background then?
Not as big as if it was 2 feet from the first pipe.
Yeah, but the stuff in the background, Carlos, don't say not as, just agree. Yes, Nathan, the stuff in the background will definitely be a totally different size to the stuff in the foreground. Won't it?
It would be a different, sure.
Right, so how concerned with perspective is Sly? What has he done to account for this effect that he seems to want to ignore and only do the front elevation, not the side elevation?
He's going to line up a measurement from the last to the first pipe, and then the camera will be lined up from the first one to the last one, and then if there's curvature, then the water level.
No. I didn't say if there's curvature. What's he doing about the effect of perspective?
Once you line up the first and the last one, then you don't have to account for perspective.
Why? So the thing in the background's the same size as the thing in the near foreground because he's lined it up? No, it'll still be smaller.
Can I just jump in here for a second? You know George Netanyahu and you know the Rumpus. Well, I had an off-air chat with them, and they're in full agreement that this isn't going to work. They've categorically said, along with myself and many others, that this is a test that's being performed that even if it works, will be inconclusive. But the actual process of getting it to work is near impossible.
So even if it works, why wouldn't it work?
You cannot determine a 2-inch deficit over 3/4 of a mile and have it as conclusive proof.
But even if you detect it, still it'd be too very little, right?
2 inches is far too small. If you'd done it over a distance of say 3 miles, where you've got up to 6 feet of cumulative drop. But obviously, the way he's working it, it wouldn't be. So it'd probably be about 1.5 feet. But still, it would be a lot more measurable than 2 inches. So either way, it's going to be inconclusive at best. That's if he can even pull it off.
Well, perhaps you're right. Perhaps it'd be really hard to see it, but that wasn't the point I was arguing.
Okay, I just thought I'd put it out there because I'm going to nail my hat to the post and say that I don't think it's going to work. It'll be inconclusive at best. So I hope he's prepared for all this because he's going to get a lot of stick. I feel he's already getting a lot of sticks. So it seems from the Globers over this.
Well, at least he's doing something.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault him for doing it. I am applauding him for it. I even tried getting in contact with him to try and offer him some advice as to how to improve things, and he just doesn't want to listen. So it's not just me, but other people have tried to reach out. He's very bombastic in what he's doing. He's going ahead with it anyway. He thinks he has the perfect experiment test to do what he needs to do.
How would you improve it, if I may ask?
I would have done it over a longer distance. I would have employed more people to actually be there at the same time. I would have done it next to water. I wouldn't have done it on.
He has done it next to water.
Away from water. Sorry?
He is doing it next to water.
Oh, he's changed that now, has he?
No, I said he is. I thought I saw the overhead view, and it's like by a great big river or something.
Yeah, but he's not doing it on the water. He's not doing it on the water, Nathan.
No, he's not. That would also be my criticism. He's not doing it, utilising the enormous body of water right next to where he's doing this.
Yeah, and I mean, I wanted to try and offer a little bit of advice. Whether he took it or not, he doesn't want to know. That's fair enough. But I'm reaching out as a flat earther to a globe earther because he's actually going out and doing something, and he's putting a lot of time and effort into it, and I applaud him for that. But I think it's flawed. There's other people that think it's flawed. There's a lot of things that he could have asked for help and advice with, and he's not bringing it to. He's not actually taking anybody up on their offers for help. So I just see failure. That's all I can say.
Why does a globe earther need to do experiments or observations? Don't they already have it proven by NASA or Eratosthenes?
Good point.
Same applies to flat earthers. Why we have to do experimentations if you already know it's flat?
Yeah, we don't really.
No, we're looking at the globe Earth model. I mean, that would be my take on it. Hey, that's the official narrative. That's what was taught in school. That's what's propagated in news and government. I just don't think the official story is correct. It has too many anomalies in it. But I don't need to do experiments to figure that out.
Agreed. I think the point was that after 2,000 years of claimed globe understanding, you'd have something better than Sliced by Arcane going out and doing it in the future. Well, isn't there like really rock solid stuff been done already in the last 2,000 years to prove this understanding that you apparently have?
That's because the other evidence that we bring, you guys just don't accept it as evidence.
Like what?
Like imaging and
like imaging. What kind of imaging? What kind of imaging?
Yeah, you're gonna go with you can't have a satellite in a vacuum, blah blah blah.
So you're already sorry. Do you have a rebuttal to that argument? Because you clearly know the argument.
Yeah, gravity.
Sorry, have you got some scientific evidence of gravity suddenly? Or just Cavendish balls and Einstein's mathematics? Is that all you've got still? Because as I understand it, there's no scientific evidence for this hijacking of relative density, Carlos. There's only mathematics from Einstein, which is currently the understanding that science puts across, not experimentally valid, or Cavendish, not experimentally valid. So have you got something to actually demonstrate this gravity?
Yeah, like Slick says, my everyday experience.
What, your everyday experience of...
I'm joking, of course.
Yeah, but your experience is of you being more dense than the air around you.
Look, the flat earthers don't have an explanation of what causes dense things to go down and what defines up and down. That's my argument.
What, that we don't have an answer? Yeah, we do.
What is it?
Because it's
what
more
defines
dense.
Up and down?
Yeah, in the same way, right, if you put stuff that's of different densities in, you argue that stuff goes down. What about all the stuff that's going up, that's displaced upwards, Carlos? You're just going to ignore those things and focus solely on the stuff that is displaced, what you call down, relative to your fixed position. Well, number one, down is a relative direction.
Relative to what?
Relative to whatever you fix it to. So depending on your medium and your density, you could start at a place where you are neutral compared to your environment. For example, a fish. Yeah? Well, it's not at the same level as you. It's lower than you, right? It's in the sea. Well, it's still neutral relative to its environment. It's not going up or down. But for you to reach that point, you would have to go massively out of your disequilibrium downwards towards the fish. Well, the fish is going to look at you drowning going, well, I'm all right. I'm neutrally buoyant. Equally, a helium balloon goes up. So there's stuff that displaces other stuff. Some goes up. And if you have a whole mixture of different materials and you shake it, some of it will go up. But I'm not about to be as stupid as to say, well, what's this force of up? Well, of course, some stuff goes up, some stuff goes down. It's all displaced based on its density. It's just relative density. No gravity force.
You still haven't told me what defines where the up and down is. You just said it's relative, but you haven't answered
it is.
that.
Relative density, relative to its density.
Yeah, you can go further than that, Nathan. By when you say with the helium balloon, for instance, you release it from your hands down at the ground, and it will find an equilibrium. There will come a point where it no longer goes any higher. It stops. Now, that isn't the gravity that suddenly decided to stop pulling, because if that was the case, it would have done it here, right down whilst you're holding it in your hand and you let go of it. So it can't be the gravity. That proves that it is the density.
Nope.
Do you mean no?
That just means that it has a neutral density.
Sorry, why are we arguing about neutral density when you are claiming? Hold on, you are claiming, Carlos, after saying, "Oh, what this horrible, awkward position where we can't have a second law of thermodynamics violation." Your response is gravity, and now you're arguing with us about something that's agreed with on both sides. So we both agree about relative density. It's not like it's suddenly different for our side of the argument. This is accepted rhetoric on both sides. So relative density is real, yeah? But there's no scientific evidence for the force you attribute to the downward bit when you remove all medium and push things out of disequilibrium to drop them. So that's not a force. It's just a made-up story with no scientific validity. So that's not an answer to your images, which is where we started. We just reject the images, you say. Well, no. We reject that you can have images taken from a fake medium called space. Your gravity explanation does not cut it. So, you're going to address this second law of thermodynamics violation or just hold tightly to your pictures?
Yeah, I wasn't arguing that the neutral density, but it sounded like you were saying that neutral density was defining where up and down is. That's all I was arguing.
Sorry,
but we're not getting.
You said you've got pictures. You said I reject your pictures. Why do I reject them? Well, because they're coming from a fake medium. And I said, well, have you got a rebuttal to that? You said, yeah, gravity. I point out there's no scientific validity, and then you and I go on a little red herring straw man argument about neutral buoyancy. Who cares? You don't have any scientific evidence for this claim of gravity, or that you can have gravity maintaining gas pressure without a container, or that the second law of thermodynamics violation you claim you can maintain with gravity is conducive to having satellites taking a picture from somewhere no one's going. So this is a cold pile of bullshit. Yeah? How are you going to prove that those pictures came from a fake medium? What, a word, gravity? That's it. That's your best explanation for these pictures that are totally fake.
That wasn't my explanation for the pictures. That was my rebuttal to the following argument that you were going to bring, Nathan.
Yeah, you said that we all understand it and we just reject all evidence placed before us. Outrageous. The evidence you're presenting came from a fake place. You can't have space, this bullshit place that you think exists, because they've presented pictures from it and said, of course it's real. And when we say, well, how's the gas still here in this open system? You go, oh, gravity. Well, what's gravity?
It's the force that pulls density down.
Well, what about the up? Yeah, we're going around in circles. You're laughing because you're absolutely being beaten.
What about what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
What about the up? So when the stuff goes down, what about all the stuff that went up in its place?
It's being displaced by...
Oh, right. So relative density then. So we're in agreement, like we were 5 minutes ago, that this is relative density, not gravity. So what about the gravity bit, Carlos?
We're not... You're just not telling me what defines up and down.
Listen,
it's your claim. It's your claim. What do I need to tell you? I'm asking how we can have pictures from a second law of thermodynamics violation. You're claiming gravity, and you're telling me I need to tell you something. No.
Well, if in the atmosphere things can be displaced, why is the atmosphere not being displaced in a vacuum?
Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
I said, if in the atmosphere things can be displaced, So you can displace one heavier medium with another.
So have a gradient, right?
Why can't it? Why can why does the vacuum of space not displace the atmosphere?
How come the vacuum of space?
Why doesn't the gas fill the space, Carlos?
Why isn't the quote unquote vacuum sucking the atmosphere?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Why doesn't the gas expand in all directions to fill the space?
Because of gravity.
What? Why are you laughing at us? Oi! Do you think this is funny?
Yes, sometimes.
What? You, with a stupid religious fundamentalist belief in this gravity that you cannot prove, and every time we try and get to discuss it, you talk about relative density. Yeah? So you don't have any force holding gas in an open system to have this space place you think pictures have come from. And when we get to that, you laugh. I don't find this bullshit funny.
Isn't that the whole point of your show, for you to get upset?
What, with you and your fundamentalist belief, Carlos? Yeah, people like you piss me off royally. You're a fundy. You've just got this fundy belief, and when we rip it in you asshole, you laugh. And that makes me absolutely furious. You think it's funny? Okay. You think coming here spouting your rhetoric and your fundy bullshit belief is funny?
Dude, take a chill pill. Here, let me give you another example.
Don't lie to us. Don't come here with your fundy belief, and don't tell me not to get annoyed at you and your fundy zealotry. You've got a fundy belief in this shit, Carlos. You think gravity is a real thing, and when I ask you to prove it, you laugh. Yet you think I need to calm down. No, get a handle on reality, you stupid muppet. You believe in this crap. You've got no evidence for it, but you just believe it. And when you come to actually justify your belief, you tell me that I reject your garbage evidence. No, it's just garbage.
Can I give you one more example? See if we can find something, and then I'll move on and stop annoying you.
What? You've so far accused me of rejecting your evidence. So are you going to, at the end, accept that your pictures that you did not take, that you took the word of a priest who said he went out in a wizard suit to a place that can't exist, that those are real, and that I just reject them out of hand because they're actually real? Is that what we're going to reach at the end? You accepting that they're not real? You haven't been to Narnia. Oh, sorry, my bad. Outer space. No one's going there. And the pictures that are claimed to come from there are taken from a second law of thermodynamics violation, because your open system would have the gas we're all breathing expand into it rapidly. Are you going to concede that at the end, or laugh when I rip a new asshole out of your gravity faith?
So can I give you the example?
Of what?
All right, so you're talking about relative density, right?
Sorry, no. You have a fundy belief in gravity, and you're now quizzing me on something we both agree. Listen to the answer. Shut your mouth and listen to the answer. We both agree in that regard. There is no argument on both sides for relative density. Yes, stuff displaces other stuff. You understand at a fundamental level that is true on both sides. Yet you ignore that when you attribute a down-only force, ignoring all displacement by removing the medium in a vacuum chamber, forcing things out of disequilibrium and then dropping them, then claiming that's a down force. No, that's not a force holding the gas in your open system. Space is fake. You can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum, which is where your pictures came from. That's your claim here. Now, I don't want to argue about relative density with you. I want you to prove the pictures came from somewhere that violates the second law of thermodynamics. Or concede you can't. That's why you're laughing.
That's not why I'm laughing at your reaction to it, but now you're moving from proving gravity and not relative density to moving to proving the pictures. Let me give you an example about density and gravity. Can I do that?
I'm not doing that, you stupid asshole. You're doing that. You claim pictures, not me. Don't reverse the burden of proof. No, we haven't moved away from gravity to pictures. We got onto gravity because you claim pictures. And I said, no, they're from a fake place. We can't have gas pressure without a container. And then you giggling twat said gravity.
See, it is funny. Even your people are laughing, Nathan. See, it is funny.
Yeah,
Probably laughing
you
more
are the
for you.
one being laughed
You're
at, you fundy
hilarious.
zealot. Don't you get this? You giggling about gravity when you've got no evidence for it. That's funny. I take this seriously. You think it's funny when you have no evidence for your fundy belief.
Okay.
Not okay, fundy. Concede you're a bloody zealot and you've got no proof of your faith in outer space. Something that violates a second law of thermodynamics, a natural law of nature. Something that can't be violated. Yet when I ask you how it's being violated, you claim gravity and then laugh when it gets ripped to pieces.
Right. Or give us your independent variable for the scientific evidence of gravity instead.
That's all you guys have. Independent variable and note scientific
It's
and
a scientific
grasp
method.
the pressure without a container. That's all you guys have.
No,
Yeah,
that's
I don't
that's
have
all
time for
that
this.
you guys have.
I'm outta
And
here.
you guys don't have it. That's what you guys
It's
are
called
claiming that you
science.
have.
It's called science.
Yeah, you guys are claiming you have the science,
Yes.
but you don't have the science. We're not claiming anything. We're saying your
Okay.
claims are false.
Saying that a photograph or footage is not real because it can't be possible is not science either. But hey, that's all the time I have. I'm out. Thank you for the time,
That's
Nathan.
colloquial evidence.
Pleasure. Thanks for coming, Carlos.
Can you
You're a
take
good sport.
photographs of Narnia?
No, bye.
Okay.
So with the departure of Carlos, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the audience in the Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. If you need something to keep you occupied after the live show is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Haven't seen you around for a while. What have you been up to?
He was on my show recently and on the debate
Alright.
too, I think.
Yeah, I've not seen many of them recently.
And what have you been up to?
By the way,
Off your channel.
I wanted to tell
down
you, I'm sorry that I went on your show and cursed a storm. That wasn't my intention. When I listened back to it, I was like, oh shit, I cursed a whole lot. Damn. So my bad, Arwen.
Oh, don't worry about it. As I said before, you just really had something on your chest, and the other guy wasn't exactly helping. So maybe it was like a flat Earth debate moment, and Nathan wasn't there to basically be the top dog. So you saw your chance and just.
Yeah, I did have more time to speak than I usually do. So
Yeah. That's what my show is for. If I can prevent myself from constantly interrupting everyone.
I would bet on Chocolate. If you're in a debate, Chocolate, my money would be on you.
Oh yeah.
thank you, sir. Thank you, guys.
I could destroy any of you in a debate.
With your imagination.
Hold on, that sounds like a gauntlet being thrown down. Right, I'm going to go on mute. Everyone else on the panel, hopefully you'll respect the same.
On a real debate. On a real debate.
Yeah, Chocolate versus you. My money's on Chocolate.
There we go.
In what setting, Brenda?
With the moderator. Unbiased.
That's not the set. What is the setting?
That's what it. That's.
Well, let's just let them have a
one-on-one. One-on-one.
We'll just see how the conversation goes.
The setting of the debate. What is
that's the
field?
setting. The setting is with the moderator one-on-one.
Oh God, you don't even get what I'm asking, do you?
Yes,
no,
I do.
I don't.
Arwen, why don't you invite her onto your show and you and Chucky can do a debate there?
I think that's an excellent
with
idea.
Arwen moderating.
All right. Sure, if
good?
Chocolate is up for it.
We still have a pre-dance now.
What am I doing? I didn't hear.
What's going on now?
I didn't hear anything. I got people talking. What happened?
Would you be interested, Chocolate, in doing a one-on-one debate on Arwen's channel with Brenda and Arwen as the moderator?
Sure. Why not? I don't care.
But
What
it's going
about
to be
you,
pretty
Nathan?
early, though. You know?
What about you, Nathan? I'd debate you
Debate me anytime you like.
or somewhere where you don't have mod powers because you abuse your powers.
Oh no, is this a victim card moment? I run a show, so if you don't like my show, piss off.
You're afraid.
I'm talking
No.
to you now.
No, somewhere where you don't have mod powers. Where you
What,
can
so you've
abuse
got
them.
the upper hand? Fuck off! Get out my
Nathan?
fucking hangout if you don't like it, Brenda. Or you can debate me right now. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let me just give Brenda... Hold on, Arwin.
I'll
Let me just
debate
give
you
you
right
the
now,
options
then.
again, Brenda. You can either go fuck yourself, or you can talk to me right now. Those are your two choices. Fuck off, or talk to me.
I'll talk to you.
Well,
Don't
jolly
get so
good.
excited.
Jolly good. Don't whinge about me running the show. If you want to debate someone else somewhere else, you can. If you want to debate me, you can debate me. Or,
I'll debate you.
jolly good.
Where?
You
Where
can
do you want
talk
to
to
debate?
me right now. Debate me with whatever you've got to present your fundamentalist belief in a sphere Earth.
Sure.
Are we going to get
What's-
some deductive-based presentation?
What's your best evidence that the Earth is flat?
Sorry, that was you agreeing, saying, sure, yeah, I'll present my fundamentalist belief in a sphere Earth and evidence for it, and then you've asked me to prove the Earth is flat. So, not sure,
Yeah.
but I'll just
Yeah.
immediately put the onus onto you. That's what you're saying.
Your claim is that the Earth is flat.
I haven't
want
said
you
a
to
word.
support it.
I haven't said a word. I got you to agree you had a fundamentalist belief in a sphere Earth and that you would present evidence for it. You agreed and then immediately put the onus on me and made an allegation that I'd made a claim. No claim was made. You agreed you had a fundamentalist belief in a sphere Earth and you would present evidence for it and then immediately didn't.
Oh, okay. I can present evidence for the curvature of the Earth. Sure. The evidence is ships go over the horizon and they are obstructed by the curvature.
Sorry, that's a circular reasoning. So if you are to say that you can
No,
prove...
it's not.
Sorry, I hadn't quite finished. Do I need to abuse those moderator skills because I'm not allowed to respond to you, Brenda? Is this why
Well,
you'd
this is
like me
why
on
it
another
needs to be
platform,
somewhere
Brenda?
else
Is this
where-
why you want me on another platform so that should I interrupt with an absolutely devastating argument, you'll just manage to talk over me because the moderator will undoubtedly be on your side, right, Brenda?
Well, we can pick a neutral moderator.
Or you could just shut up when I talk. Excellent. So, Brenda, in your argument, you have a presupposition that it's being caused by the thing you're trying to prove.
No.
So when you said by Earth curve, that would be the very thing you're trying to prove, and you've presupposed that what is causing this is Earth curve. We went through this on the last show you were on and determined that your cause and effect relationship was nothing more than a begging the question fallacy, circular reasoning where you assume your outcome. By saying it's caused by Earth curve, when that's the very thing you're trying to prove, circular reasoning, Brenda.
No, that's not true. I'm not presupposing curvature.
Say your statement again, and let's see if it includes the statement that it's being caused by curvature.
When I observe ships being obstructed by the horizon, I take that as evidence for curvature.
So you presuppose it's just being caused by curvature then? So that's circular reasoning. I think it might be curvature. So I look at the horizon, see ship disappearing and say it's curvature. Therefore curvature. Right,
No,
Brenda? You circular
a
reasoning
hypothesis.
using idiot. Even though I've taken you through it very slowly, twice, you still think that you're not assuming your outcome when you say you look at the horizon and just assume it's curvature causing that.
I have the hypothesis that the Earth is curved, and I test the hypothesis by making observations. The observations that I make are consistent with my hypothesis that the Earth is curved.
That's circular reasoning, Brenda. A
No,
hypothesis
it isn't.
sorry. A hypothesis, in scientific terminology, would require you have first an observed phenomena. We went through this on the last show. Your observed phenomena being boats going over the horizon. Your presumed cause being Earth curve, something which you cannot vary and manipulate to establish the cause of the effect. So instead, at the end, you said no. The Earth curve is held constant. Therefore, a presupposition, not an establishment of the cause being Earth curve, of the effect, but merely your statement that it is Earth curve. Circular reasoning. Getting slower and slower. Third time I've said it.
No, I observe a phenomenon that objects in the distance, like ships or other things, disappear from the bottom up as they recede in distance. I hypothesize that this is due to curvature.
Yeah.
And I make additional observations.
You're just repeating
that
yourself.
would confirm.
You're just repeating yourself. Yes, I heard. You hypothesized that it's curvature. So let me know how the experiment went on. How did you vary and manipulate that which you presumed caused the effect? How did you vary the Earth curve?
No, we varied the distance.
So not the Earth curve then, you bonehead. You're just going to assume that's the cause when you vary something else. We did this last time. This is the second show we have done the exact same thing.
The independent variable is the distance from the observer.
An independent variable is your presumed cause of the effect. So you presume that the distance causes the boat to disappear. So absolutely sod all to do with Earth curve unless you're about to tell me that you are going to insert it as a presupposition.
On a spherical object.
On a spherical object, there it is. Bingo, ladies and gentlemen. Brenda begs the question. Wow, like she knows how to do anything else. Of course she doesn't. It's all she can do.
This is why we would need a unbiased moderator. Because
one that doesn't let you beg the question. On a spherical model is you assuming that this is happening on a spherical object. You are begging the question. I'm tired of it. It's all you can do. You bloody fundy. No. Assume your outcome. So on a spherical object. So on a spherical object. So you are assuming that the Earth is a spherical object then, Brenda?
No, I'm not.
So why would you say on a spherical object then?
Everybody just heard you do it.
No, I didn't do it. I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You just begged the question, Brenda. We
no, that's
all
not
heard you
begging
just do
the
it.
question. That's not begging the question to say that on a geometrical surface that is curved, the difference between
on a geometrical surface that's curved. That's not begging the question. My God, Brenda is so unbelievably stupid. It just makes me annoyed. And with that, I'll say a massive thank you to all of the Nathan Oakley premiering audience for tuning in, hopefully sharing, smashing the super chat, subscribing if you've not done so already, all that good stuff. If you need something to keep you occupied after this premiering stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!